Hi, I'm Jay Hill, Interim Leader of the Federal Maverick Party. What does Remembrance Day mean to you? For me, it has always meant honoring those who selflessly volunteered to fight for, and if need be, die for, the freedoms all of us in Canada continue to enjoy and all too often take for granted. It means showing understanding and respect for those who have suffered so the vast majority of our generation hasn't had to. It's been said war is hell, shameful and stupid. This is undoubtedly true, but so long as there are truly evil people in positions of power that want to enslave and exterminate others, wars will unfortunately be necessary. There have always been those who try to force their extreme ideological and religious beliefs on the defenseless and the vulnerable. As we near November 11th, I would ask you to seriously consider a couple of famous quotes. First, in a 1948 speech to the House of Commons, Winston Churchill said, "Those who fail to learn from history are condemned to repeat it. From this we must learn to be ever vigilant, for our freedom is not a given. We must continually learn from the past and be unafraid to speak out against injustice in all its forms." Second, Edmund Burke famously said, "The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing." There are times when simply speaking out is insufficient, when it is necessary to respond to the call to arms. Thankfully for us, our children and grandchildren, we have the example of previous generations of Canadians to inspire us. I believe the debt we owe these men and women is so great that it is not enough to simply wear a poppy in November or attend an annual Remembrance Day ceremony. I believe it is incumbent upon all of us to study and learn from these conflicts and to pay homage to those who carry the torch of freedom whenever and however we can. Personally, I have had the enormous privilege of having a front row seat with my wife to observe our Queen rededicate the Vimy Memorial in France after its refurbishment, to lay a wreath in the Menin Gate in Belgium, to visit the grave of John McCrae, the author of In Flanders Fields, and the bunker in which he wrote his famous poem. I have walked the beaches of Dieppe and Normandy with my son, and later paid silent reverence in far too many European war cemeteries. And as you walk among the gravestones, row upon row upon row upon row, it is impossible to not be overcome with emotion. The magnitude of the loss is overpowering. So many young Canadian boys laid to rest in lands so far from home. And in case you think I'm exaggerating by calling them boys, let me tell you about just one. On Remembrance Day 1997, I had the honor to lay a wreath at the Moro River Canadian Cemetery overlooking the beautiful Adriatic Sea south of Ortona, Italy. Following the ceremony, I took the opportunity to pay my respects by slowly walking through the deathly quiet graveyard to read some of the inscriptions. It was like I was somehow drawn to one in particular, and I will never forget that moment as long as I live. The headstone reads, "Private G.E. Ott, the Hastings and Prince Edward Regiment, died 30th of January 1944, age 16. So as you pin your poppy on this year, I urge you to give a thought to young Gordon Ott from Brantford, Ontario, and the tens of thousands of Canadians who have perished or come home damaged in body and mind. Say a prayer for them and express your humble appreciation, not only on November the 11th, but every day of the year. Wear your poppy proudly.